Ahead on WFT's First at 5, Hurricane Beryl pounding the island nation of Jamaica. We hear from the evacuees who were able to get out of the storm's dangerous path.
Plus an uptick in holiday travel, why experts say a record number of Americans are hitting the roads and taking to the skies this week.
And storms could impact your holiday barbecue plans. The UF weather team is timing out showers in north central Florida. First at 5 starts right now.
From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
Right now, Jamaica is being hit with strong rains and severe winds as Hurricane Beryl hits the country. This is WFT's First at 5. I'm Sarah Hauer.
And I'm Kade Sowers. Beryl has been linked to at least 7 deaths in the Caribbean. And as Laura Aguirre reports, U.S. disaster relief plans are already underway.
This is what the monstrous Category 4 Hurricane Beryl looks like through the lens of a satellite as it roars through the Caribbean. It first slammed ashore in Grenada with maximum sustained winds of 145 miles per hour Monday. Those same life-threatening conditions are now punishing the island of Jamaica. Forecasters put the center of the storm just south of the island Wednesday afternoon, with powerful bands of wind and storm surge possible over its entire eastern half. Jamaica's Prime Minister took to social media Wednesday, urging everyone in high-risk impact areas to evacuate, with or without official notice.
If you live in a low-lying area, or if you live on the banks of a river or a gully, I implore you to evacuate to a shelter or to safer ground.
U.S.-based disaster relief efforts are underway, with organizations like World Central Kitchen and Global Empowerment Mission packing and preparing supplies for shipment to the hard-hit islands. Beryl is also changing up the itinerary for some cruise ship passengers.
The cruise director told us that after we were done with Costa Maya, they're going to take us north as fast as they can to get us out of the track of the hurricane.
A path that the National Hurricane Center is tracking into northeastern Mexico between now and Sunday, with a tightly wound center between 60 and 70%, making a U.S. landfall of some degree into southern Texas early next week possible. I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
Hundreds of evacuees from Jamaica arrived safely to Fort Lauderdale Tuesday ahead of Hurricane Beryl. Jamaica's Prime Minister emphasized the seriousness of the storm's threat for those who were unable to leave the island in time. Passengers say every seat was filled on flights from Montego Bay and Kingston, with airlines adjusting schedules to evacuate as many people as possible. Airport closures and flight cancellations began this morning. Thomas Oliver was among the hundreds of passengers who arrived safely at Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport Tuesday after evacuating Jamaica ahead of the record-breaking hurricane.
I didn't sleep last night because I don't know if I would be able to get out today. But it worked out fine.
Everybody is in preparation mode for the storm, hoping that it will not hit because I will not be at home.
Hillary Palmer's home lies in the path of the hurricane. Her main concern is for her family, friends, and those living in vulnerable areas prone to flooding.
As Hurricane Beryl heads towards Jamaica as a Category 4 storm, some cruise lines have been forced to change their itineraries. Carnival Horizon canceled stops in Cozumel and the Cayman Islands and added a stop in Nassau. Norwegian Jade has canceled stops in Fairmount, Jamaica, Grand Cayman, and Cozumel. Instead, they will stop in San Juan, the British Virgin Islands, and Puerto Plata. Royal Caribbean's Icon of the Seas diverted to Mexico, and Wonder of the Seas will be skipping Honduras and Mexico and instead be going to the Bahamas. Harmony of the Seas also canceled their stop in Honduras. As Hurricane Beryl batters the southeastern Caribbean, some groups in Florida are setting up to help. At the Global Empowerment Mission Warehouse in South Florida, they've partnered with the Caribbean Consular Corps and South Florida Caribbean Strong. These groups are asking the community to donate items like water, canned and dry goods, and hygiene products, among other items. They say crews are still assessing the damage to see what else these Caribbean countries really need.
And we may not be seeing any impacts from Hurricane Beryl, but north central Florida will see its share of showers and storms this week. This is a live look at what is right now a beautiful day from our Paynes Prairie DOT camera. But the sunshine will soon fade and rain will set in. UF weather forecaster Desiree Waters is tracking Beryl and timing out the showers in your weather forecast.
Hurricane Beryl is currently over Jamaica right now. As we can see, it is at 140 miles per hour winds, and it is moving about 20 miles per hour. But taking a look at our own satellite here, and right now in the current the Century Tower, it's about 93 degrees and it feels like 104 degrees. What that means, we're going to continue to keep tracking some of these storms that are east of I-75 and could potentially affect Gainesville and our fanfare fireworks this evening. We have about a 70% chance of rain at 6 p.m. and it's going to go down to about 30% chance and about 20% chance when those fireworks should kick off about 9:30 at fanfare fireworks in UF here. And we're going to continue to track that going into the evening, and then looking towards tomorrow, we're going to look at those clouds and what that potentially means for our Independence Day.
The holiday travel rush is underway with over 70 million Americans expected to hit the roads and skies this week. Auto Club AAA is projecting that this is going to be the busiest July 4th holiday period ever reported. TSA is projecting about 2.7 million people will be passing through their checkpoints across the country. Agents say 8 of the 10 busiest travel days as far as passenger volume have all occurred in the last year. They expect the 3 busiest airports today to be Atlanta, Denver, and also Dallas-Fort Worth. They also say it's really important, especially if you're checking a bag, to thoroughly inspect that bag and make sure you're kind to your fellow travelers and everyone working in the airport.
Florida's Chief Financial Officer, Jimmy Patronis, is cautioning Floridians to follow fire safety guidelines ahead of the 4th of July holiday. Part of Patronis' job includes the role of state fire marshal. Under Florida law, people 18 and older can buy fireworks that are usually prohibited and use them on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and Independence Day. These include explosive fireworks like firecrackers, torpedoes, and Roman candles. Patronis says people should avoid unapproved fireworks, keeping kids and pets away from fireworks, and leave the big shows to the professionals.
Families together, having a good time, make sure you're taking the necessary safety precautions to ensure that your holiday does not have a disastrous outcome.
And specific rules about where fireworks can be used can vary from county to county, and some areas the state have an active ban burn.
If you're heading out to WFT's annual fanfares and fireworks, you have less than an hour to get there before the events get underway. It starts at 6 p.m. at Flabbit Field on the UF campus. That's on Woodland Drive. Families can picnic on the grass and can enjoy food trucks, live music, and fireworks. The event is free, but if you can't make it, you can always watch the fireworks on uft.org/fireworks.
And Florida Fish and Wildlife officers are working to spread the word about the dangers of operating a boat while under the influence. Many boating incidents happen over holiday breaks, and FWC officers say boating while impaired is dangerous and illegal. They'll be on the lookout for impaired operators this weekend, and they say it's all part of a larger initiative called Operation Dry Water that was launched back in 2009.
3 people had to be rescued from their overturned SUV after a 3-vehicle crash in Ocala this morning. Ocala Fire Rescue posted these pictures of the aftermath of the crash on their Facebook page today. Firefighters say 2 cars and the SUV collided just after 8 this morning, causing the SUV to flip on its side. The driver and front seat passenger had to be pulled from the front windshield, while the other passenger had to be pulled through the trunk. All 3 were taken to the hospital to get checked out, in addition to 1 other driver. Coming up next when First at 5 returns, Alachua County school leaders in need of help for the upcoming academic year. The roles they're looking to fill when they host a pair of job fairs later this month.
And the Biden administration in damage control after President Biden's poor debate performance. How they plan to keep shoring up support for the campaign.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
The Biden administration is working overtime to calm fears that he can't win the White House again, nearly 1 week after his debate performance. The president is meeting with supporters today, but as Julia Binbrook reports, 1 Democratic lawmaker has already come forward calling him to step aside.
After President Joe Biden's shaky performance at the debate last week, the White House has been on defense.
We understand the concerns. We get it. The president did not have a great night.
Biden's campaign has insisted that it was just a bad night for the 81-year-old president, and he has no plans to drop out.
The president is in this race to win it. He is the Democratic nominee.
But one ally told CNN that if polls plummet, fundraising dries up, and interviews go poorly, Biden knows a comeback will be difficult. On Tuesday, Representative Lloyd Doggett became the first sitting Democratic member of Congress to publicly call on Biden to step away from the race.
I just felt it was important to speak out in the most respectful way possible and say this is not about one night.
To address the concerns surrounding Biden's fitness for office, the president is meeting with Democratic congressional leaders and governors.
The governors just want a direct and candid conversation with the president. We want to make sure he's doing okay. We all know him. I think we also want to talk about strategy. When governors get out there, we put our own credibility and brands on the line.
A recent CNN poll shows that most voters think Democrats have a better chance of keeping the White House if Biden isn't the nominee. Any path forward with someone else would be both logistically difficult and politically risky. Reporting in Washington, I'm Julia Benbrook.
SpaceX launched another Falcon 9 rocket early this morning, carrying another batch of Starlink satellites into orbit. Falcon 9 lifted off just about 5:30 this morning from the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station to mark its 67th mission this year. The rocket contained 20 satellites, 13 of which have direct-to-cell capabilities. The satellites were in space an hour after launch, and the first stage returned safely to Earth. After today's mission, there are now over 6,000 Starlink satellites in orbit.
Closer to home in Alachua County, school leaders are hosting a pair of job fairs later this month. The first is Thursday, July 11th, and the second is Wednesday, July 17th. Both fairs will run from 3 to 5:30 p.m. and are located at the ACPS district office on East University Avenue. The school district is looking to fill a number of open roles that range from bus drivers to aides to paraprofessionals and even electricians and trade helpers. Be sure to dress professionally and come with your resume.
We're continuing to track our rain chances for today and for Independence Day. More on that after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Hurricane Beryl still impacting Jamaica. Currently, right now, taking a look at our tropical satellite, you can see the winds are 140 miles per hour, moving about 20 miles per hour. We're going to take a closer look here. It is currently, we are tracking the tropics, currently at Category 4 hurricane. It was a Category 5 yesterday. Moving into tomorrow, you can see tomorrow morning into tomorrow evening, it can drop into a Category 2 hurricane. As it moves into Yucatan, you can see here that it's going to go down into a tropical storm, potentially when it gets to the Gulf of Mexico. And it still is continuing to track it as it moves. It is potentially going to reach southern part of Texas. It could potentially pick back up to a Category 1 hurricane. It's not currently affecting us here in Florida, but let's take a closer look here at Florida at our satellite as well. Nothing is affecting us here currently, but we are taking a chance. There's a low chance of some tropical depression to develop as well. Moving right along to our satellite here in Florida. Right now you can see we have some storms kind of happening up here in Tallahassee, east of Gainesville, I-75, and some storms down here as well at Fort Myers. Getting a closer look here at our satellite and radar, we already have a couple of scattered storms here in Alachua County, and you can see over here in Cross City and Trenton area as well, a little bit more activity going on as well. Going into our fanfares and fireworks this evening here in Alachua County, we're about a 70% chance of rain this evening, but it is going to go down until about 30 and 20% chance of rain as we get closer to that fireworks show starting off here. And then looking tomorrow, Independence Day, is going to be hot and humid in the morning, and it's going to be some evening chances of rain in the afternoon, but those should clear up. Looking ahead at our heat index, we are about 106 degrees, and we're going to go ahead and move on to the Palm Coast. If you're going to the beach, be careful. There are some rip currents going to be happening there on the 4th of July. Going ahead and looking at our 7-day outlook. Tomorrow, we're about 90 degrees, 92 degrees, 70% chance of rain. Moving to the weekend, we're going to continue with that hot and humid weather, but it's going to be a good chance of rain going into the weekend as well. And that's your Wednesday weather with Desiree Waters.
And finally, Gators baseball superstar Jack Caglione has officially been named the D1 Academic All-American of the Year. Caglione finished his junior year with a 3.64 GPA, all while helping to lead Florida back to the College World Series semifinals.
It's just another award that Kaz can add to his trophy case at this point. He's just piling it up. I mean, just what else can you say?
Well, with the draft coming up, I'm sure the Gators are really going to miss him.
For sure.
And of course, we're all wishing him the best of luck.
Yes, we want to wish him the best of luck, and I wish all of us the best of luck as we take a look at our final weather for the forecast for tomorrow. It's going to be hot and humid with a chance of showers, and then going into the weekend about the same as well.
Thanks for joining us. We're off for the long holiday weekend, but we're back here Monday for another edition of First to 5.
Your North Central Florida news is always on at WUFT.org and on all our social media platforms. Stay safe and have a great holiday weekend.